It's our weekly Facebook Live here with Ball State head football coach Mike Neu as we welcome you back in. Cardinals come off their defeat at Western Michigan on Saturday. They'll take on Akron this coming Saturday. And Mike, it's one of those old sayings where they say it's never as good as it seemed, it's never as bad as it seemed. That being said, when you take a look back at the film, did you find anything that was a shining light, or is it one of those where you just kind of put it behind you and say, let's move on?
Now, the first message I gave to our coaching staff on Sunday morning is I don't want to watch the tape with the players. There's not a lot of positives from the tape, so we want to be positive, we want to be upbeat, and we want to put it behind us. We don't want to watch it again and get beat again. So it was one of those, wanted to put it away quickly and focus all of our attention on Akron, trying to get the mindset as good as it could possibly be around the building, which is, hey, let's be positive, let's control our attitude and effort, and if we're positive and we, encourage our guys to come in here with a great attitude every day, then we'll be better off that way. Because you look at the tape, and unfortunately for us, we went against a good football team that hit on all cylinders the other night. We had an awful start to the game. We just couldn't recover and seem to get anything going. It wasn't for lack of our guys competing, but we really just kind of got caught in a landslide and bad feeling. But at the end of the night, told our team in the locker room that tough times never last. Tough people do. We're going through some challenges right now, but our guys will be better for it. We got some young players that are kind of growing up in some tough situations right now. We're missing some experience, but everybody goes through those challenges. So we just got to stay the course here, stay positive, and we got this game left. One more game, this 3-game road stretch at Akron here. We got to get a win, get to 3-3, and get to the bye week.
How did you feel as that game played out? Because Spees and I said on the radio, it's one of those days where you feel like there's, what else? I think Rich actually said at one point, what else can go wrong? And then at that very moment, I think there was a penalty, or it might have been the kickoff in the second half. And it just seemed like whatever it was, it found a way to not go your way. What's going on in your head in that moment where you just feel like you can't catch a break?
Well, it's disappointing. It's one of those, I'm never one of those guys that ever feels sorry for myself or says, oh, why me? Why, hey, it happened. We started the second half, and Coach Doherty done a great job all week. Felt like, we had an opportunity based on their front line to get an onside kick. We worked on it. Ryan Rimler had a great kick there, and you got to give their young man credit. He signaled fair catch, and when that happens, you have to give him an opportunity to catch it. So it was a roll of dice, but we also thought it was one of those. I thought it was one of those, if we get it right here, maybe you can give us a little bit of a momentum, create a little bit of excitement here for our sideline here as we get going in the second half. But listen, it happened. We got beat by a good football team. They're the MAC champions a year ago for a reason. Yes, they had some turnover, but they're still playing good football. And I think obviously the first couple of games when they play USC like that, now you know why. And listen, I told all of our guys, we just got to stay the course here. Be positive, come in here with a great attitude, winning mindset, and we'll be fine.
Attitude was what on Sunday? How'd they respond?
It was awesome. The first thing you want to see is, when you make a decision not to watch the game tape, we met with our guys briefly, and then we went on the field and walked through some of the corrections that, were base corrections from the night before that you saw on the tape. But at the same time, we wanted to shift our focus a little bit towards Akron. Coaches had already kind of gotten a head start on the bus and that morning prior to meeting. So once we did the walkthrough, we came back in the position meeting rooms, watched Akron tape. And then, first thing, you ask Coach Armour, hey, how was the lift? How was the attitude? Very positive. Our guys really came back and responded as good as you possibly can, having a loss where you take it on the chin.
Let's talk about Akron coming up this week ahead. They're a team that comes off a win against Bowling Green this past weekend. You're only a day into your prep, but what have you seen on film, and what scares you about them, or what do you see in them that you think you have an opportunity with?
Well, they got a lot of experience, really. If you look at their offensive line, you look at the quarterback, some of the skill position guys, and same thing defensively. The D-line, linebackers. They got a lot of guys that have experience here. They took. They were on the road prior to the Bowling Green game against Troy and really had the lead late into that game, and Troy scored there on the last minute on a go route to win the football game. So, listen, they're a good football team. We found that out a year ago. The first half of the game last year, we controlled the clock. We controlled most of the game. We ran the ball very effectively. And then on the second half, that script got flipped on us. And so, the quarterback is the guy that makes that thing go. Woodson is a guy that can hurt you with his arm. He makes some big throws. He's very confident in his ability to fit the ball in tight windows. They take their shots down the field, and they're a dangerous football team. They've got some guys that can run. They got some scat guys, if you will, that are quick. So we got to be on our. We got to be fundamentally sound here. We got to play a good football game. We got to get on the road here again, and we got to be better in both sides of the ball. That's easy to sit here and say, but it all starts for us being able to stop the run, and at the same time for us, we want to establish a run.
Let's talk about the run game a little bit, because they're a team that loses their running back, Warren Ball, this past week, reportedly out for the year with the ankle injury. However, that opens the door for two guys that played against you last year and ran the ball pretty well against you last year. So your initial inclination as a fan is to go, all right, well, they're without their top guy, and then you look at who's behind him, and you say, well, okay, well, we've got some history there. What do you remember about those two guys, and what concerns you still about their run game?
You're exactly right. Those two guys did play well against us a year ago, and they're quick guys. I think you see that on tape right away, even though they may be undersized compared to, the injury to the running back that was injured there. They're still guys that are quick, though, and they're explosive, and they can make you miss in the open field and take one, get a big gainer there. So we got to be good that way as far as being good tackling in the open field, and because they're a spread team, they're going to play with some tempo when it's when they feel like it's necessary. So obviously we want to make sure and limit the big plays for those guys, and make sure we're fundamentally sound and better than we were obviously a week ago.
You talked about the defense. The challenge this week will be to not mistake their linebacker for a Civil War guy, because I've done it repeatedly in the past, but Ulysses Gilbert is the preseason MAC Defensive Player of the Year, and a guy who is certainly very talented there. What stands out when you look at him in particular and the way he leads that defense?
He's playing that way right now. He's a guy that is very well-rounded. Not only he's a complete linebacker. When I say complete, he's got good size, he's got good speed, he's got range. He's very good in the run versus the run. He just has a nose for the football. He understands running schemes and what the offense is trying to do to him, and he usually beats the ball carrier to the hole. They also do a good job of bringing him off the edge in their pressure package. He's also good in coverage, so you get him matched up on a running back. That's not a guaranteed matchup in your favor, because he's a guy that's got good range and speed, and he's playing at a high level. There's nothing that you look at of him on tape and say, he doesn't do that very well. This is a chance for us to be able to exploit him, because he is a very well-rounded player and does everything well.
You guys, injury-wise, give me the update on kind of where the MASH unit is at for Ball State heading into this week.
We're kind of in the same situation right now. Early part of the week here, it's Monday. We haven't got on the practice field yet, hoping to get a guy like Vinny Palazetti back. But everybody else is kind of a wait-and-see approach here. I still think we'll be without James. Good chance we'll be without Riley. Jordan Hogue's just been kind of a nagging situation going on with his back. Hopefully we can get Mark Walton back. But that's really kind of early in the week here on Monday where we're at. The one guy I'd say that's probably ahead in his rehab with a chance to get it back on the field would be Vinny.
Well, that's the situation for the Cardinals as they get set for Akron coming up on Saturday. If you'd like to hear more from Coach, you can tune in to Muncie Sports Radio, Fox Sports Radio 102.9 and 1340 tonight at 7. It'll be Monday night with the red and white, and then check out the Cardinals on the road Saturday. Mike, as always, we appreciate the time. Looking forward to it.
All right, thank you.
That's Facebook Live with head coach Mike Neu here on a Monday leading into Akron.